Let's do this, Nairobi, Saseni! Saseni, Nairobi! Hey!
Thank you, how you say?
How you see?
Beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Great, great, great.
And put your hands together for the host of the evening. Give your hands for the one and only MC Kogi. MC Kogi.
Hey! Hello! Wonderful, wonderful. Turn to your neighbor, give them a high five. Give your neighbor a high five. Compatie smile ya Kogi live. Wonderful, fantastic. Great, 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 great. By the way, greetings are very important. You know, one thing that motivates me is that we are African enough to greet each and one another. Let me feel your hand. How are you, Mheshimiwa? That's a soft hand. Let me try here. How are you, sir? My goodness, you are rough. But let me tell you something, my friend. Unajua mkono wako by the way, you can advise him, you know, there is Nivea for men. Yeah? Mkono wako, by the way, fake it until you make it. You know? Because suit yuko nayo, mkono ni rough. That tells me you could be a COO in this Nairobi. COO, the Chief Construction Officer, fundi wa mjengo. And where I come from, by the way, we love titles and big titles. Unakuta mtu anajiita LEO, Landscape Executive Officer. Huyo ni shamba boy. Mwingine unakuta anaitwa DT, Domestic Technician. Huyo ni boch ama house help. By the way, earlier in the day, nilikuwa natembea hii Nairobi na msichana wa kazi, DT, Domestic Technician. Sasa tukitembea pole pole, huyo msichana akatoa ushamba yake yote. She was Domestic Technician, nilikuwa nampeleka kwa auntie yangu. Tulipofika pale Kencom, akaona taa zimewaka. Akaniambia, MC Kogi, na hii Nairobi si mmeendelea. Yaani taa za huku zinawaka zikiwa zimeinama na hazimwagi mafuta. Tupigie makofi wa Domestic Technician. It's so good and it's great to appreciate where we come from, by the way. That's very important. Being proud of you, we are. Being proud of a Kenyan. By the way, Kenya is the greatest country in the world. How many believe so? As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. And those of a contrary opinion say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. Kenya is a beautiful country. The problem with my people, where I come from, they assume everybody understands our language. From a place, mtu akusalimia na Chinese, ni hao, wanasema, ni hao. Mwingine akusalimia na Kijaman masaa ya asubuhi, guten Morgen, gotire naru. Wanaendelea unakuta sasa ni French. Ikifika ni wakati wa French ni bonjour, bonjour mon nom. Comment ça va? Kwina shaina shabashi. Sasa bibi makofi wapi watu wangu jamani. Very much humble today. We have Mheshimiwa in the house. I want to invite Mheshimiwa, Honorable Millicent, to the red seat. Makofi wapia Millicent. Karibu sana to the red seat. Welcome, welcome so much, Mheshimiwa. Have your seat. We call this red seat. It may not Mheshimiwa. Introduce yourself briefly.
My name is Millicent from Mugadi. I'm born and raised from Ziwani, Kariokor.
Honorable Millicent, before she joined the world of politics to become the Kariokor-Ziwani MCA, she hailed from the popular and the famous Big Brother Africa. So Kenyans have made it to the top. So Mheshimiwa, how was the experience at Big Brother Africa and your acting background prior to that, the journey, Mheshimiwa?
Okay, the journey to where I came from and where I am, I started as a soccer player for Mathare United. We were the first girls that started Mathare United. So I started playing soccer. I discovered my acting talent in Maisa because Maisa was not just a football club. it was a place whereby we use football to create awareness on issues that affect the society, and it was through football that we encouraged other people to get into things like drama, acting, music, and different talents that everybody was brought together by football. So I discovered my acting talent in Maisa. That was when I was in primary school. Then I went to high school, I joined drama. From there, when I finished school, I lost my mom. Sorry. And I think that was where, after high school, I was like, what do I do? Because I could not see myself going further with my education. So I thought, okay, fine. College, it's a no-go zone, or university, because I was thinking who's going to pay for my school fees. Then I thought, okay, I need to make an income, I need to live. And I just decided, okay, I want to know where people act, I want to know where the Mama Kaya is. And then I remembered there was a time we went to watch a play at the National Theatre.
Yes.
So I found myself there. I joined a group called Jichofo. I started doing stage plays.
Jichofo is the place for high school?
No, Jichofo is a production company.
Okay.
So from there, that's when I launched myself into the theatre world and into the acting world.
And how the journey now from Kenya National Theatre, Jichofo, to Big Brother Africa, what was the connection?
It has been a struggle. Acting in Kenya was not that lucrative like now. Because I remember when we were doing stage plays, we were being paid 350. 350 was a lot of money by then just for a play. And for me, it was I need something that puts bread on the table, and still I have a passion for that. I had dreams to go to Hollywood. My dream was like I want to be the first Kenyan to go to Hollywood, but I realized challenges were many. As in you get the money to eat and that's it. Kenyans are the worst audience, by the way. You people are the worst. Let me just tell you. You do not appreciate your talent. You do not appreciate your own artist.
Kenyans, you hear that?
And if you expect your own child to be appreciated, you have to start by appreciating the other person. We watch a lot of the Esmeraldas, a lot of the Mexican soaps. We buy them, we make money for them, but we don't want to make money for our own artists. Then we complain, artists are dying poor, but you are the people who are making us poor. We go out there, we want to entertain you, the Mama Kayais, the Ojuans, but it's from the TV stations to the audience. It is so frustrating. There's so much passion. You wonder, why would I act for 350 shillings? It shows me I have so much passion. I cannot go and stand on the street and say, let me sell handkerchiefs. That's not my passion. My passion is I want to stand there on that stage.
Yes.
I want to act. I want to entertain you. I want to make you laugh. And you give me 350 shillings and I'm contented. So you can imagine, it's not desperation. This is the love of acting. The same way you're in love with your career, the same way a teacher is in love with their career, it's the same way all artists are in love with their talent, whether it's a musician or an actor. So go out there and watch this place. They advertised Alliance Française, Kenya National Theatre. That 500 shillings,
yes.
It does not, you might feel like, kwa nini nimpatie 500, but that 500 shillings will help me be able to give a better show next time. I'll be able to buy equipment, I will be able to buy a good camera. I will be able to, as I grow, I will be able to stand out and become an entertainer.
And Mheshimiwa, do you feel now that Kenyans need to have a change of attitude towards art? That we embrace it, they embrace it better, they support their very own, not wait for, I call her Lupita Wadiongo, Lupita Nyong'o, for her to make it and then to start supporting her out there.
I love Lupita Nyong'o, I know. We see her and we think she's successful. Yes, she's successful, but she has her own side of story to tell. America is not just land of dreams. It's also land of challenges. Being black, she has her own story. Probably one day, she will share with you people, and you will be able to say, "Wow, girl, we acknowledge you." I think it's a high time, as Kenyans, acknowledge our artists. We spend so much time to go and watch Diamond, P-Squared. Like right now, the P-Squares, they're charging like 7 million for a show.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
7 million. And we will pay.
But 500 for a very
500 to go and watch size 8.
Yes.
Hata hakuna mtu ataangalia hiyo gazeti.
Kenyans
But we want to go in, and then we say Kenyan artists are not giving us good music, but you are not encouraging us. You know, entertainment industry is the biggest industry right now in Africa.
Yes.
There is money, you know, and you don't need to send a CV. It's just your talent and your creativity. That's it. But what do? We've killed it, all of us. Kenya has killed it. As much as the government has come up with the policy of encouraging radio stations to play more music, TV stations to show more programs,
yes.
Let us appreciate our artists. Let's give them endorsements. Let's say, we feel so painful to just endorse Millicent as the brand ambassador of let's say, give me a product, Ketepa.
Yes.
You understand? Ketepa tea leaves. And then probably the corporate will feel so painful to endorse me, and you want to go for a cheap commercial because it is cheaper. Yet other countries, that's how entertainers make money. It's through endorsements.
Also looking at the likes of like Juakali, for him to spearhead now the preparedness for what is coming up.
Yeah, it's one very few artists.
Yes.
But I went through that. I paid my dues. I cried. Sometimes I slept hungry. But it got to a time my star started shining. I was a lead actress in a TV series called The Team. It was a football team. I was acting as Johari, the goalkeeper. And we were trying, it was after the post-election violence. Then we started this Mashtaka. I've done an international movie, Tomb Raider. I did Tomb Raider.
Oh, my copy, I'm Tomb Raider. How many know Tomb Raider? I watched that.
Wow. And I've been able to do a couple of stage plays. I was the first Kenyan to do Nollywood movies. I remember my first Nollywood movie was 2008. I shot it in Ghana, and it was out of the urge, the hunger of wanting to go places. You know, I want to be a star. I want to act. I want to show my talent. But then I'm looking at my entertainment industry and I'm thinking, God, I'm not seeing anybody motivating me. So I start networking. I make contacts. Then I send out my portfolios, and I got called for a job. I did my first movie with the likes of Jim Ike, Mike Ezrone, Jim Ike, and it is such a rewarding feeling when you're in a foreign country, and the way people want to come and do things with Kenyans. There's so much hunger. They love Kenya. They know Kenyans are wonderful people. It's an opportunity, but we don't have the policies that welcome them, apart from Hollywood.
And you're talking of policies, Mheshimiwa, you are now in the government of the day.
Yes.
The county government of Nairobi.
Yes.
What are you doing as the MCA for Kariokor-Ziwani to promote this talent? Now that you have been there, you have gone through the thick and the thin, what are you doing in your individual capacity and for the resources that surround you?
Basically, what right now we really advocated for low prices in terms of licensing, so that you know, like before, producers were saying they are paying, like the fee is too much for them to shoot. You understand? We are coming up with a policy whereby the county will be working with the entertainment fraternity, so that to make it easy for them to shoot. We want it to be Nairobi to be a free shooting zone whereby me as an entertainer, I don't have to worry about the city council that's coming, taking away my cameras or paying for location fees. It's expensive because already the industry is not giving us that much. And like in my world, I'm trying to support youth groups that are interested in acting, you know, and hope very soon I'll be launching a studio for a group that is doing music.
How soon is that? You know, how soon is
when my finance, I'm working on the finances right now. If you can be generous enough and say, Millicent, I'll give you 2 million. Trust me, I'll be coming to Kogi live every week. So I'm trying to work on a studio whereby I'll be able to provide a studio for the young artists. Because if you look at Ziwani, we have the likes of Masi Myra, we have at least, we have Christophe.
Very amazing.
As in Eastlands, it's another area, but there's talent, but resources is what that is lacking. So that is what I'm doing, and I'm representing my people to the fullest. You know?
Wonderful, Mheshimiwa. Now, if we focus at you as a lady in politics, what actually motivated you to join politics, and have you quit now acting? What's your future in politics? What is this whole thing about again? Women saying, fighting for their rights, we need more women rep. What's this whole thing about devolution? Because some people feel it's not working. Those three areas. Your position as a lady, are you quitting acting? Is this devolution thing working?
Right now, I can't say I'm quitting acting because I have so much passion in acting. I'm growing. I'm just taking time off to grow into leadership. Because, the people who have elected, you need to see the seriousness in you. When I'm on the screen, I play funny roles, and they want to see the young girl that we elected, has she really matured to become the leader that we thought? I don't want them to feel like they wasted their votes. And leadership is challenging because it's not that you will go to school to be taught leadership. You face the challenges on daily basis. And there's a lot that you have to learn about leadership outside the assembly and inside the assembly. So I'm taking my time to learn that.
Okay.
I'm loving it. It's a growing process for me, and I'm giving my energy, all of it. I don't want anything to disrupt me.
I hear you, Mheshimiwa. And the issue of women reps, do you think it's something to fight for? They should fight out without being like this, a third rule. They should fight out and giving them that space.
Let me tell you,
yes.
And this is for all the women that are here. Kenyan men are not giving us women enough opportunity to come out as leaders. You understand? Our culture also, it's instilled in us that the man is the head of the house since the day we are young until when we are growing. So it is a challenge. It's for women to come out and say, you know what? It's the woman that carries a lot of the burden in the society. And a few of the women have already done that. The Matakaruas, the PDSEO, the Milio Diabo, they've tried to fight for the new constitution that says women must be included in leadership. Now it is us to come out and say, I want to try. It is very difficult, let me tell you, because men, it is just in our nature that our brothers, our husbands, our fathers don't believe in us. And they will be the first one to look down upon you. Trust me, being in politics as a woman, I used to cry every day because they would insult me, they would call me names, and they would just tell me, wewe mwanamke huwezi. And you men don't even feel, you feel nothing when you're putting me down.
That's not true.
It is true. It is my experience. It is my experience. I will give you an example.
Yes, please.
I remember my childhood friend. He was a musician. I'm an actor. And the day we started our artistic ventures, we were together and we would sit. And he would say, I want to be a big musician. I would say, I want to be a good big actress. And when my mom would encourage me and would tell me, go for the sky. But little did I know that my best friend, who was a boy, the dad would always tell him, acting itakusaidia. So the day I declared I'm going to vie and I wanted to vote, I called all the wazes in my area. And I told them, hey, here I am. At least you've seen I've grown from a soccer player into acting. I've represented Kenya to Big Brother. I've been able to carry my flag. I've acted in Ghana and Nigeria. I want to get into leadership. One old guy, the father of that boy, laughed. He laughed until he cried. He practically laughed. Ati sasa wewe umejisaidia na nini? Nani amekwambia acting ni career? Utatufanyia nini ile sisi hatujajifanyia? The guy is like 60 years. He laughed and cried and cried. I stood there, I looked at him and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm asking God, what are you trying to show me? Then I gathered confidence. I told him, look, Dad, me and your son, we started, your son was a musician, he even composed a song, and I'm an actress. We all started together. And I asked him, where is your son right now? I told him, your son is in Kawangware, anachonga mawe. And where am I? I told him, I'm a continental brand. Do you know why? It's because of the same attitude you've given me. It's the same attitude you gave your son. And that is why your son could not make it. But my mom would tell me, you have to be like a bird, spread your wings and fly. Attitude. So today, this attitude you're giving me, yes. Trust me, I will not listen to you, because that is the reason why my best friend is in Kawangware and at Chongamawe, and in a day he gets 150 bob. But with this attitude, After elections, I will come here and you will call me a mheshimiwa. He sat down, it's like I pinched, yani ni kama nilimtukana, and he got angry and he walked out. So I'm saying, for us women, for our issues to be raised, for the society to change so that we can feel that I don't have to marry an old man because he's going to supply me with everything, you know. I don't have to stand in the streets for Koinange to sell my body because I want money.
Yes.
I don't have to be a third wife on Mpango wa Kando. We have to wake up and say we will get into leadership. Yeah. It's a dirty game. Men will throw that.
Did you play that? Did you play that?
I did not that. I did not play dirty, but I became tough. I cried a few days, but then I decided, you know what? I'll face this man right head on. And I did that. And a few supported me. Those believed in me. But it was an expensive journey. Mentally, it was expensive. Financially, it was expensive. Emotionally, it was expensive.
I hear you, Mheshimiwa, and a serious question, the final question is, this whole thing of devolution, is it working? We have looked at it keenly. Some people are almost giving up in that we hear of a Facebook account that cost 2 million. We proceed and hear of some smartphones of county executive team costing 80,000. Wheelbarrow of how much? 109, 109,000. Did the whole thing create loopholes for embezzlement of our money? Kenya's public money. What's your take on this?
For me, I think...
And if our teachers are out there asking for this money, we are being told, hakuna pesa na naona pesa inakuliwa ovyo ovyo.
Okay, one thing I'm going to say, we are the ones that asked for a different system of leadership, you know. We voted for the new constitution, we asked for devolution. Some parts it's working, but some parts we have loopholes that need to be looked at, you know. Corruption is what is killing us. And I sometimes I go places, I don't want to say I am an MCA because I feel embarrassed, you know.
Yes.
I will say, naitwa Mheshimiwa, I will bury 109. And actually that's the thing that has been rubbed on my face a couple of times. And I'm thinking, it is not me, but they're saying, nyinyi waheshimiwa mko na pesa mingi sana, nyinyi ni waizi. Everybody labels you as a thief, you know. Walimu wanateseka. I met even one teacher, he almost beat me up. When then you call, nyinyi waizi utaniambia. And I just wanted to know.
What do you think is the solution, Mheshimiwa, to that?
Solution, it is, for me, I would say, you Kenyans, yes, you only get action when you speak. But when you keep quiet, trust me, not all politicians are the same. We have greedy politicians, right?
Yes, very.
And they take advantage when you keep quiet. When you as a county see that your money is being stolen and you do nothing, it's not politics anymore. You are paying your tax.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And money, you're not getting the services.
Value for money.
You're not getting the services.
Yes.
Wake up and demand for your right. Push and push and push and say, you know what? We want these people taken action on them. Ethics and anti-corruption. Any institution that is acting as an oversight role for a government institution, you have to push them. Whether it's the police, they have to work. Whether it's the ethics and anti-corruption, they have to work. Whether it's the ombudsman, whoever is in charge, then you have to come up and say, we want this change. Because, trust me, there are countries that corruption is not there as much as in Kenya. We've made corruption.
If I may give you a good example of that. A Swiss member of parliament, let me put it from a Kenyan context, and you are an example. Our MCA, like Kariokor-Ziwani MCA, is paid more than a Swiss member of parliament, such that a Swiss MP must have another side job to be able to meet his or her bills. So at the end of the day, Kenyans, I think we have been told it is time to arise and stand for what is good, for time to speak instead of waiting for a few people to take action. The middle class, you have a voice, you have resources, it is time to take action and have the Kenya we want. Now, Mheshimiwa, looking at that camera, there are people who look up to you and say, when I grow up, we don't know when that will happen. They say, when I grow up, I want to be like Honorable. I'm told the camera is there by the director. Looking at that camera, Mheshimiwa, that's your camera. What word, one word or two words of encouragement would you tell that Kenyan out there? Could be a young lady saying, Hon.Millicent, You inspire me. Others say, Honorable Mother Karua, you inspire me. What is one word you tell them of encouragement to be where you are? Looking at that camera.
I don't think I have one word. One word is not enough. I would say you have to wake up, get off your comfort zone, and go for what you believe in. And for the parents out there, you have to support your children. Because if you don't believe in your child, trust me, the world out here is full of hyenas. And they're waiting to devour your children the minute they land. You have to be the first person to believe in your child. And you have to say, you know what, I will support my son or my daughter. It's not an easy road. There's competition. We are over 40 million. Everybody is hungry. You understand? You have to be aggressive. You have to be tough. You have to be hardworking. And you have to say, you know what, I can do it. I can make it. I will do it. And it is my time.
Wonderful.
You understand?
Yes.
I think that is just the best way I can say. And put God first.
God first.
Stay out of drugs.
Yes.
You understand? Avoid peer pressure. Try and identify good companies. And be a hustler. Let me use it that way. You
Like that of our deputy president, William Ruto.
Lazima ukwe kimbele. Wacha tu nikwambie.
Kujichocha.
Hakuna kitu itakupata kama umekaa kwa kiti. You know, you have to wake up and say, wacha nikwambie. They say fake it till you make it. It works. Trust me. You have to just put it in your head that, you know what, I can make it. You have to be ready to sweat. Mentally, physically, emotionally. Na utoke hapo. Wende watu vimbelembele ndio ufika mbali. Wewe unataka ukae kwa mlango uonekane wewe ni mtoto mzuri, trust me.
Do not
Even they say ukitaka bwana enda utafute huko bali wanakuaga. Ukiwa kwa mlango utaolewa na jirani. Si ni kweli? Yeye anakuona.
Wapi makofi ya mheshimiwa? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the story does not end there. We are about to listen to our first speaker. As a young man, changing lives in his and empowering others ways through an organization called Palm Mobile. Why don't we put our hands together for CEO of Palm Mobile, Eugene Aroka? I'm humbled to salute the CEO. Take it away.
Thank you, Kogi. After that introduction, you just feel like sitting down. But yeah, so my name is Eugene Aroka. I'm the CEO of Palm Mobile, and I'm humbled to be here. Palm Mobile is an engine that I came up roughly 3 years ago while I was just from college, and I decided that I want to do something in tech. I was not in Nairobi yet, but the way Millicent had just told us, you need to go for it. Go where things are happening. I said I'm going to this Nairobi where things are happening, and I'm going to start a technology company. By then I was living in Kisumu. So my dream, I used to read people like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. I remember I used to read a lot about Bill Gates, and I was like, this is happening in America, but I believe it can also happen in Kenya. And I was passionate about technology. And and I wasn't from a very, what you can say, good background, but I believed in myself. And my first point is, number one is, do you have a dream? Do you have a dream? If you want to be different, you have to have a dream. This is the first question that you should ask yourself. I believe one of the main reasons people just follow the herd is they don't have a dream. You follow a herd because you don't have a dream. You're just following. You wake up in the morning, people are going to be stuck in traffic. You're also stuck in traffic by them. You wake up in the morning and you just feel like all of us are going to work 8 to 5. You wake up in the morning, we are all going 8 to 5. You don't have a dream. You're just in the herd. You are in everybody else's. You are doing what everybody else is doing, and you won't be different. But a dream is what sets you above the average. Not having a dream means going to mediocrity or on autopilot. If you don't have a dream, you just go to mediocrity on autopilot, and you just go. In the morning, you just switch to everybody else, what everybody else is doing. If you have found your dream, the next question is whether or not you have the courage to follow it. Question 2, Then there's another question that I ask you. Are you doing what you want to do? Are you doing what you want or what you should? You should be doing what you want, not what you should. Then there's another question that we should ask yourself. Do you worry more about being loved than being what you love? Another reason why we don't dare to be different is because we are trying to meet other people's expectations. We often worry more about what other people say than about what matters to us. The fourth question that I would ask you is, do you choose what is safe rather than what is right? Like for me, I chose to start a company. Yes, it was not very easy. I came to Nairobi and I had to live in Kawangware, next to Kawangware, and it was a 1,500 house. This is a guy who had been at Windsor. The first time when I came to Nairobi, I lived at Windsor. You know, here you are hit by a reality that you have to start from the bottom. You have to live in a room that you can stretch your hands like this and touch all the corners. And I thought to myself, like that is the easiest point to give up and say, but I thought if I had gone to the most beautiful, in fact when I was at Windsor, I thought, you mean the person who created this hotel died? You understand? It was so beautiful. But I started from the bottom, you know, and I did not choose what is safe. What could have been safe was like go and get a job, go and start applying, get your CVs out there. But I decided that I'm going to start a company. And right now, as we speak, we moved from one step to the other. When we started Palm Mobile until right now, we were acquired by a Danish firm owning 20%. You know, right now we've expanded up to Denmark. You know, we are now taking our technology to Northern Europe. You see, that's massive. So it would have been very safe to just go and look for, instead of creating employment, to go and look for employment. Then the fifth question I would ask is, if you had only 6 months left to live, would you do what you are doing now? You can only answer yes to this question if what you are doing matters to you. Doing what matters to you is a sure way to excellence, since you will do it with all your heart. But you need the courage to be different and follow your heart. Do you have it? I hope you answer yes. Life is too precious to be lived in mediocrity. So at Palm Mobile, we are looking at the future. We are looking at what we do different is that we care for the people we serve. When you come for us, you want an application, you want a software, we will strive to be great so that you enjoy the whole experience of working with us. Yes, we are doing probably what many other people are doing, like we build websites, we build mobile apps, but we make sure that we challenge ourselves to solve and make you be inspired. When you come to our company, you live inspired. That is our goal. We are not offering you an app. We are offering you an experience. When you come into our company, you will be able to access what is called our war room. You interact with our engineers. You are served the level best. You are given coffee. That is an experience. So when you leave there, you leave our offices, you're very inspired. You go out there to tell the world that I'm inspired. You know, you also go there to change the world with what you're being offered. Thank you so much for listening to me.
So ladies and gentlemen, this journey has been beautiful, it has been amazing, and we have a big team. And I want to invite a great friend of mine. You love him, you know him. He's a double F, by the way. Double F means a frequent flyer. Yeah, Mara ko US, Mara ko UK. Like in the morning he came, by the way, he came this evening by the evening flight, all the way from UK. Yani, uko keno. So ladies and gentlemen, why don't you put your hands together for the co-host of the show. You love him, he's funny, he's hilarious. Put your hands for Consummate. I am at Nairobi, Sosedi. Sosedi, Nairobi. Sosedi, Nairobi. Hey. Haya. Haya. Wacha nisaidie watu kwanza. Sasa vipi? How are you, sir? I am Kegoso. Vipi? Yeah.
ninayo sinayo. Suti ninayo sinayo. Pigiani suti makofi kwanza tafadhali. Asanteni sana. First of all, I want to appreciate all the ladies in the house. You're looking beautiful. Wapi makofi yenu? In fact, your physical alignment is oozing with centura paraplegic glyconoatic seducamide, which is compatible, palatable, and disseminable to my opticals. Hiyo ni kusema hamkangi hivyo, ni makeup mingi. Makeup ndio mkona mingi. Bazi nimewekwa makeup hapa. Wewe msikikogi. Uko wapi? Yaani makeup kuna feeling hivi. Nasikia uso wangu umeshikana yani. Na ni foundation peke yake. You know, one thing I've realized, by the way, the most heaviest part of a lady's body is the head. Jua zile vitu wa imebeba at a particular time. Like foundation, 3 centimeter thick, that is around 1 kilogram, yeah? Eyelashes, 1 centimeter thick za kuwekwa, that is 2 grams. Okay? Then we have ragi ya mdomo, that is 2 centimeter thick, that is another 1 gram. Weave is 4 kilograms. Kuna vipini, kuna vitu mingi, kuna machozi ile inagojea kulia kihadibrekiwa, that is 2 kilograms. Yeah? And that's why ladies, when they're in the high heels, they don't walk straight, yeah? They walk like this because of the heaviest part of the head, yeah? Wapi makofi ya ladies wetu tafadhali? Thank you so much. And I want to appreciate everyone, appreciate the man in the house next to you, appreciate the man. Give him a high five. Thank you for coming. Let me tell you one thing, all of you guys, nyinyi wote ni wa maana. Hata kama uko VIP, na uko na complimentary bado wewe ni wa maana. Hata kama this is the first time in a 5-star hotel, wewe bado ni wa maana. Wewe bado ni, hata kama unaangusha simu nikiwa hapa na haiko na credit, bado wewe ni wa wewe ni wa maana. Hata kama uko VIP na umetoka kidogo, wewe bado ni wa yeah? Hata kama umekuja na probox na matatu, wangapi umekuja na probox? Tafadhali tuongee ukweli, wangapi? Wa probox ya wewe ni wa kwanza. Wapi makofi ya ujamaa? Probox. Nani wamekuja na matatu? Tumekuja na matatu na unafanya hivi. Yeah? Wakati wametembea, by the way. Umetembea, by the way, it's so easy kujua mtu ametembea kuangalia the shoe. Inakuwa imeisha hapa nyuma ya juu ya kuenda hivi. Mtu akona gari kiatu wanga imeisha hapa juu ya kukanyaga mafuta na brake. Yeah? Huyo ameisha. And you know one thing I've realized, by the Nairobi ladies, they pay fare for men. Si tunalipiaga wanaume wetu fare tukikuja. Ile place car inalipisha bao. Si ndio? Unasikia conductor, gari kwenda town ni pesa ngapi? Sasa hiyo mnatoka Rongai, it's off peak. Yeah, it's off peak. Conductor and sister, gari ni bao. Okay, toa watu wawili. Babe, wacha nilipe, utalipa tukirudi. Tukirudi wajua itakuwa 150. Yeah. Yeah, and of course when I was there, you guys are smelling nice, cologne zile. Najua mmejitayarisha vizuri, and I don't know whether you mnakumbuka zile times za chapati za kitambo. Kitambo chapati was so precious, by the way. Unakumbuka hiyo chapati? Wacha kujifanya wewe ni wa Nigeria. Chapati za kitambo, they were so precious. Mpaka kuduka chapati kwa class ulikuwa unaonekana wewe ni mtu precious sana. Wewe ndio nyinyi ni wadosi. Yaani ukiduka tu chapati. Alafu unajua kitambo watu walikuwa wanapika na moto ya kuni, so ilikuwa inafanya uduke ile chakula ulipika. So kwa close ulikuwa unapata kuna mtu ananuka kitunguu. Kuna mwingine ananuka mokimo. Kuna mwingine ananuka hamburger. Kuna mwingine ananuka salad. Kuna mwingine ananuka githeri. Mpaka mkishikana nyinyi wote hivi kupigwa picha mnanuka buffet. Yeah, we have come from far, and of course on my right we have a Kogi live band. Wapi makofi ya Kogi live band. Unajua one thing I've realized with music, yeah? Music, fanya kitu ile ulifanya China. Pinya. Yeah, this guy was in China. By the way, today you are so smart. Hujavaa ile trouser ulikuwa last time ilikuwa imefika hapa. Yeah. Fanya drum kitu. You know, One thing I've realized with various communities, when they are doing the music, when the guys doing music, they always big up guys. They are guys. Watu wale wamewasaidia kwa hiyo music. And it depends with the clubs. Yeah, with the various communities. Like Wakikuyu, cheza weko weko. Fanya kitu. Weko weko. Weko weko. Weko weko. Weko weko. Haya. Alafu sasa inafika place wanaanza kupiga kwat sasa. Haya basi. Wajiro wangu rada. Asante sana kwa kunisaidia kuproduce ngoma. Kula, mpaka unapikia kitu watakula. Kula. Kula mokimo. Haya basi. Sasa yetu Wakikuyu. Pia watu wa kutoka Nyanza pia wanapiga. Pia twende. Haya basi. Wewe ni nyandudo sasa. Otieno from Oyugi. Thank you so much for helping me write that song. Thank you, I'm here today because of you. Kula samaki. Ha! Wakamba pia wao hupiga watu. Lakini problem hakunaga kitu ya kuambia watu wakule. Twende. Wakamba wanangoja El Nino sana, juu maji itawasaidia. Watu wengi wanaogopa El Nino, Wakamba wanaigoja wewe. Wanasema Mungu umetusaidia, haki ya Mungu ilete kesho. Even, I love music, and one thing I've realized, but I come from the village. Mimi nimelelewa in the village, huko ndani kabisa. And kitu nimerealize na watu in the village, when they're dancing, kuna time DJ who hold the music, yeah? They hold the music, so the people sing along, especially when people are dancing in the clubs. They wanna even, just come, I just want a beautiful lady, just come, yeah. Wacha tufanye hii. So I'm in the club, I'm dancing with a lady. Alafu kuna time DJ who hold the music, watu wanaiba along, yeah, they sing along. Sasa kitu moja, the mistake people do in the village, they sing the wrong things very confidently. Very confidently, yeah? Like, yeah, hear the song, hebu cheza hiyo. Tujifanye tuko kwa club.
Musina ni tata, edi mwana, edi mbebe santu. Musina ni tata sambio, musina. Babota mabasa, babala muka, musina. Musina wa tata jeri, eda mwana mokoro. Musina wa tata jeri, musina. The wrong things, yeah? The wrong things, but our music is so fine, yeah? Kama kuna watu wanakula rahisi na hii music yetu ni Kenyans. Kenyans, tunajua kuimba lakini kama kuna mtu anakula rahisi hii Kenya ni Jimmy Gate, by the way. Wapi makofi ya Jimmy Gate? Jimmy Gate, for him to hit, he knows the vibe. Unajua A, E, I, O, U, E, O. Hizo ndizo ukram. Kila anaweka kwa music yako na ina hit. Ina hit. Unasongea Jimmy Gate la appointment. Uone huku wanakula rahisi sana hii Kenya. Appointment, finya play. Iko karibu na stop. Yeah. Iko karibu na stop. Jimmy Gate. Na. Siku moja nili. This guy, okay, wachana na hiyo. This guy, I can sing by the way. This guy, ati, unasikia. Siku moja nilikuwa, na shida fulani. Uko na hiyo song, manze, I'm not lying, yeah? This guy anakula rahisi sana. Siku moja nilikuwa na shida fulani, ikabana niombe usaidizi. kwa bosi fulani, rafiki yangu, tuliyependana na yeye, Bazi, and where Nigerians wanatuachia our guests is because Nigerian music, you know, apart from having the message, these guys knows how to shoot the video. You know, they know how to act their video. They know how to act their video. You can connect with their video. That's why wanatuacha. Kenya tunakuwa kadari.
MC Consummator.
Yes.
Makopi wapi ya Consummator.
Yes, makopi.
Amazing job.
But you are looking handsome tonight. Yeah.
Asante.
Umepiga suti pasi. Kabisa. By the way, we are so different. Men and ladies were so different. Unajua nimeona msichana fulani. Unajua kuna hiki kitu tulikuwa tunaokota coins kitambo. Mbona watu hawaokotagi coins these days?
Sasa ni manoti.
Ni manoti. Kuna kitu unajua mwanaume akiona pesa imeanguka chini town center. Uko na pesa like
drop 1,000 kama nitakurudishia.
Mwanaume akiona pesa imeanguka chini town center. Wao ukota hiyo pesa ni kama ndio waliangusha.
Kama ni yao wako na uhakika.
Without feelings.
Yes.
Baka naenda kihuizo. Very nice.
Yes.
Wasichana wa Nairobi wakiona pesa imeanguka chini town.
Warembo wa tao.
Wao jifanya hiyo pesa iko na majini. Wao kuja hivi. Jesus! Shindwe! Hata wale waja okoka shindwe. Shetani linakujua. Unajiwekanga chini kama 100 ama 50 bob ili mtu wa Mungu kama mimi akikuona umeanguka chini akuchukue, akutumie, akufe. Lakini sikuchukui. Ni vile wewe ni 1,000, wewe uko na uwepo wa Bwana.
MC Consummator. MC Consummator.
Alafu kuna mwingine niliona, do you know, there's this thing is so different. We are so different. Kuna mwingine alikuja, unajua when you're a stranger in town, mwanamume stranger ukuje uguse msichana wa Nairobi amesimama pahali, ile matusi yana kutusi. Ati nikuje hebu jifanya umenigusa mimi ni dem. Anamtisiki matusi. Stupid. Fool. Imbecile. Nonsense. Mchawi. Sasa wacha aone huo mwanaume akiingia kwa Range Rover. That is me. Ni mimi nilikuwa najitusi. Yeah, but we have an amazing artist. Who is coming on stage next?
Wow. So ladies and gentlemen,
yes.
It gets better at this point.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
Of course.
She's talented.
Yes.
You may have seen
her. Huyu mwanaume anasema oh. Buddha. I make.
She's talented. You may have seen her on Tahidi's Hype some time back. She wants to take it away.
Yes.
With Kogi Light Band.
Yes.
Put your hands together for Gathoni.
Gathoni, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kogi.
Take it away again. Can you introduce yourself briefly, then take it away.
Hello, I am Gathoni, and shifting us to a different mood. You know, when we say hello, it's a good thing. You say hello and smile, but there also comes a time when you have to say goodbye, and that's what I'm going to sing about today.
All you had to offer was the promise of a lifetime of love. 'Cause I know there is no other love like another's love for her child. And I know a a love so complete. Someday must leave, must say goodbye. Goodbye's the saddest word I'll ever hear. Goodbye's the last time I will hold you near. Someday you'll say that word and I will cry. It will break my heart to hear you say goodbye. Mama, you gave love to me. I turned a young one into a woman. Mama, all I ever needed was the guarantee of you loving me. 'Cause I know there is no other love like a mother's love for her child. And it hurts so, something complete. Someday we'll be gone, and I'll say goodbye. Goodbye's the saddest word I'll ever hear. Goodbye's the last time I will hold you near. One day you'll say that word and I will cry. It'll break my heart to hear you say goodbye. But the love you gave will always leave. You'll always be there every time I fall. You are to me the greatest love of all. You take my weakness and you make me strong. And I'll always love you till forever comes. Goodbye's the saddest word I'll ever hear. Goodbye's the last time I will hold you near. One day you'll say that word and I will cry. It will break my heart to hear you say goodbye. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gets better at this point. We are about to listen to a serious motivational speaker. He's a parent, he's a father, he's a chief of staff, Kisumu County. You may not know him, but I know some of you know him. He talks and people listen. He's very inspiring. Why don't you put your hands together for Dr. Kennedy Hongo. Karibu Daktari to speak about Arise Africa. Welcome, Dr. Kennedy Hongo.
Kogi and your team, keep it up. What I've heard, indeed, is really inspiring. In that program, I'm supposed to speak about Arise Africa. And honestly, that is one thing that I am very passionate about. I am concerned about this beautiful continent and wonderful people like you. That Kogi who is speaking was my colleague, a brother of mine. We were together with him at Stare Boys Center School. As students, of course, I was ahead of him. But that is one of the foundations that reflects the rising of Africa. One of those institutions that would take the nobodies, the ignobles, people that possibly would not have become anything at all, and who turn them into people, turn them into the VVIPs, like our friend was telling us. And one of them, as you look at Kogi there, is one of those institutions that would demonstrate that it is doable, that it doesn't matter what your station is in life. And as I reflect on what our brother here was telling us about the dreamers, that you dream. And our mentor, the late Jeffrey William Griffin, used to tell us that give me a place to stand on and I'll move the world. For him, the only thing you required was where to stand on. What is it that you wanted to do? And were you ready to put your heart into it? And if you continue to do it long enough with the necessary determination, commitment and dedication, only in time you'll be there. And why I'm passionate about the rising of Africa. One of the things that affect me, my brothers and sisters, every time I look at this wonderful continent of great men and women, there are times that I keep wondering whether we have decided to be the lesser beings or the greater beings. Are we the lesser beings? There are things that sometimes when I hear say them, I wonder. I hear people sometimes referring to Kenya as a young nation. I hear people sometimes referring to Africa as a young continent or young nations. And I keep saying, no, I don't agree to that. If America has been on earth for 1 million years, so is Kenya. If Britain has been on earth for 20 years or 1,000 years, so is Kenya. If the rest of Asians have been on earth for 20,000 years, so is Kenya. We are not the Johnny come lately on earth. We did not just arrive the other day, did we? No. So we are as old as the rest of the world. So if they're up, we too can be up. And if you're not up, then it means there's something that needs to be corrected. And one man had an answer to that. He was known as Rudyard Kipling. He said, great heights achieved by certain men were not attained by sudden flights. But they, while others slept, toiled all through into the night. Shake your neighbor's hand and say, please wake up. Just tell your neighbor, shake your neighbor's hand and shake that hand again and say, please wake up. Wake up. And that is the message. The point is that Africa, the most blessed continent, Africa, and as my brother was talking about Kenya, saying one of the most beautiful countries on earth, indeed we are. Indeed we are the most blessed continent. But why are we wallowing in the mire? Somebody said it was a French invention when they talked about third worldness. But the question is, when you compare our status, when you compare our development standards, when you look at our infrastructure, when you look at our buildings, our houses, our roads and everything else, does it compare with the best of the best? Would you be happy and proud to say, that's where I live, that's where we do our things, etc., etc.? Do others have anything better? I think there are others who do have some things better. And what stops us from having the equivalent? That's why we are talking about the rising of Africa. The Africans, including Dr. Hongo here, must get to the point when we say enough is enough. Time has come for us to catch up with the rest of the world, and if anything, demonstrate that we are able and that we also have what it takes to get there. That it is time to wake up. My brother talked about dreaming. We've got to dream, yes, but we've got to wake up. The problem with some of us, we dream, but we don't wake up. Turn to your neighbor and say, that looks like you. Just tell your neighbor that. That looks like you. We dream, but we don't wake up. What went wrong? Personally, I would not lie to you. I feel proud to be an African, but sometimes I cry over the same. The time has come for us to roll up our sleeves and begin to tell the rest of the world we have woken up. We want to catch up with the rest of the world. How long are we going to wallow in the mud? And I will start by the wonderful story or the great visitation that we had the other day. when Hussein Barack Obama arrived in Kenya. Do you know what happened? Our country almost came at a standstill. There were protocol nightmares, but thank God for Kenyans who were able to handle it all. Great success. Seeing Obama, the guy who the other day was walking in Nyalgunga, carrying that little sack on his back, going to sell the vegetable. I just wonder, ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine what happened in 1988 when that guy was carrying that thing on his back? How many of you even imagined they were face to face with His Excellency the President? How many could imagine? I can imagine many women and men who went to the market that day to see a Muzungu selling the vegetable. Little did they know that the vegetable seller was the president in waiting. Look at your friend and say, be careful how you treat me. Be careful how you treat me. Come on, just look at him again, look at her again. Just say, you know what? I could be your next boss. And if you're sitting next to a beautiful lady, just say, you know what? I could be your next husband. If you didn't know That's how the world appears. You may never know who is sitting next to you. You may never know who you're looking at. But you know the coming of Obama 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 1988 to 1988 to 2008, in 20 years, moving from down to the top is a demonstration that is actually doable. We can rise. Back to what my brother was saying, a dream. You can pursue a dream. We can. And I would pray, as Kogi lies and his team, work to make a difference, make us happy, and at the same time bring us people who have made it, and we can get inspired. I don't want to give you notes, because I also know the libraries and the books are always crying for you to go and read them. So information is plenty. All I want to do is speak to your heart and tell you that you need fire in your belly and say, what is it I can do? Like my brother has discovered something. Every one of us can decide what it is he or she will go and do. And do it with your heart. But you know why I was taking the story of Obama when he came just those few years, and the other day we saw the power of power. You know, there's also the powerlessness of power. But this time we saw the power of power. A great president from a great nation. But the story I want to say is not that bit. The story that I want you to go home with is that one man in around 1610, 1620 boarded a ship with a lot of excitement from Suffolk, a town known as Suffolk, and they were accompanied by many people traveling, thinking they were going to a great land, a land of milk and honey. And as they boarded the ship for several days, traversed and traveled across the Pacific Ocean, that man was called John Winthrop. They were moving from Suffolk, UK to Massachusetts Bay, Boston, to be specific. And you know what happened at that time? When John Winthrop got to the Bay of America with this team, he expected to find a very prosperous country, very rich people, people who had everything that they needed. He expected to find people with beautiful houses, wonderful homes. But to the shock of his life, when John Winthrop got in there, together with his entourage from Suffolk, he was shocked when they met men and women who came to meet them in Massachusetts. Those of you who have been to Boston or Massachusetts, in that area, that bay, when the man looked at the people who came, as the leader of the delegation, he cried. Because those who came to meet him, they were walking almost half naked. Those who came to meet him were so sickly, and several of them were dead, had died. Hunger and pain It was so bad that in those years, people in America, in Virginia, Massachusetts, if a person died, that became the meal of the living. They even ate leather shoes, leather belts. They ate anything that they could eat because the hunger, the suffering, the pain, the backwardness was so great. To understand what I'm talking about, if you get a chance, there's a book called The Light and the Glory. I'll be very happy for you to, if you get it, read it for yourself. But that was the story of people who are at the very bottom, rock bottom. But you know why I'm telling the story? That when John Winthrop got in there, he said, no, this is not how people should live. Something is wrong. We need to gather ourselves and put the house in order. He called the guy who was leading that group. And the man was called at the time John Endicott. And he said, Mr. Endicott, from what I see, there's a problem in the land. And we need to think and work around it. Do something about it. And you know, from that time, he got certain men and women, Mr. Higgins, to teach and preach. Ken Worthy, Sutton Starr, and a number of men and women who rolled up their sleeves and said, we're going to do something. And he led the way, came up with labor, division of labor, people working, people sharing, people pursuing. And you know, before long, we received Obama here the other day. That nation that was in tatters turned out to be the world superpower in years to come. Because some men and women carried the burden and showed the way. They had the determination to do what was right for the sake of right. Can you be counted on to do what is right for the sake of right? Because yes, we can. Because history tells us that it's doable. When men and women so decide that they want to do something and change the environment. That's why, personally, I would encourage this kind of forum. And we are soon going to start another one also in Kisumu. On the 14th of November, we want to challenge ourselves. And say to ourselves that we are looking for those men and women in Kenya who are not only going to be tumologists, tumor-driven, but they're also going to be used to use their head. They are going to stop thinking with their stomach and they begin to think with their head. Just shake your neighbor's hand one more time. I say, surely you look like a tumologist, but don't worry about it. You know, one thing I like about education, those of us who are studying those old years, before I went to Starry Boys Center School, that was sometime in 1981. And you know what used to happen for us those days? Those of us who could not think with their heads, we were forced to think with our buttocks. Do you know that? Do you remember that? If you got 89% in mathematics, the teacher wanted you to get 100. You had your buttock to blame. It was thoroughly caked. And through the pen and the buttock, the head worked. You get that? There are times when the buttock has to be made to make the head to do what? To do the work. Some people have to be punished to do what is right. But I want to encourage you to be among the number that will do what is right for the sake of. That's also one statement the late Griffin used to tell us. Do what is right for the sake of right. Are we able? Arise, Africa. Arise, Africa. We want to see Africa that will be catching up with the rest of the world. The others are making highways into the stratosphere. They are planning how people can go into the moon. They are planning how airplanes can fly all over into the sky, while the Africans are still fighting over mitaros. How to put daraja. What do you call it? How do you call it? How to put a daraja to cross a mtaro. We are still fighting over those ones. We give you money to put for us just some darajas, we steal it. That's us. That's us. We give you money to build for our sick people a good hospital, you go build an hotel for your mama in the village. Can you imagine? That's us. Mheshimiwa has gone. I really loved part of what she said. But we need to take full responsibility. We need to talk to ourselves so that Africa rises. And Africa is not going to rise if you don't rise. It is you to rise, your neighbor, all of us. The sum total of us will be the Africa arising. And it is possible. How would we arise? As I said, all I want is to speak words to inject you, and you go and dream your dreams and do whatever you can do to succeed. And libraries are there, and Google that he told us is there. Just do your research and ask yourself what you can do. But let nobody cheat you. I also want to tell you, my friend, as one in the midst of politics, that's also one thing that I'm trying to change people's thinking. Let nobody lie to us and to you that politics is evil. Let me tell you today, sovereign power is politics. The former President Moi said, maisha mbaya, siasa mbaya. Politics is sovereign power. It's called the people's power. It's God's power. That is the only power that enables you to be in control of everybody else's property. If President Uhuru walks in here, we shall all stand up. This hotel will come to a stand still, regardless of who owns it. If President Uhuru walks to Chumi supermarket, it will come to a... If he walks into some school, it will come to... You know why? Because he's the people's representative. He is even in charge of the air we breathe. And he's in charge of the water you drink. As in charge of all the forests in this land. As in charge of all the roads in this land. And he's in charge of all things that is within the boundary of Kenya. You know what gave him that? Not because he's a superhuman being. What gave him that is your vote and my vote. Is that thing you call politics the sweetest thing that makes you be in charge of other people's property? How can you say that's a bad thing? How can you bewitch us? The problem is you people don't vote in politicians. You vote in thieves. And then you blame politics. Now turn around and look at your neighbor. Ask your neighbor, why did you give us an hyena? Just ask your neighbor that. Why did you give us an hyena? Once Kenyans are putting hyenas in, don't worry when they begin to bite you. Hello, are you still there? Africa, arise. That means going home, we will decide not to put in hyenas. We need to put in politicians. We have used the wrong terminology, calling people with names that do not belong to them. A politician is one who is in charge of God's resources and uses it for the good of the people who voted for him and her. Because he or she acknowledges that because of you, so I am. And because I am, it is because you are. That is a politician. But the one who eats the children, that is a... Now, just tell your neighbor as I go to sit down, my time is up. Tell your neighbor, next time don't eat your children. Don't eat your children. And don't be a hyena. And tell your neighbor, even if you want to be a hyena, don't be a bad one. A hyena. Because you don't be a hyena. Don't be a bad one, okay? Be blessed, and thank you for giving me a chance to share with you, and I want to thank Bwana Kogi and his team once again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Doctor. Doctor. You know, you're from Dr. Kennedy Hongo for that amazing topic. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do something that this show has got a lot of amazing surprises. So we have got a team that is calling themselves Chess Events, that's a company, and what they do is they do modeling, they also do catwalking. So kuna vitu tunataka kuona hapa, yeah? Don't try them at home. So ladies and gentlemen, why don't you give up for the Chess Events team? Alafu wakikuja tuwapigie makofi. Asante sana. Yeah. Mwenye macho tazama.
In front of you are chess models. They are ushers for corporate events. They are, in front of you are about 14 of them, but we have a team of nearly 76. So we are available for all corporate events. At Wishi, Kogi sana. We have guys and we have ladies, short, tall. We do not atubagui, in short. And as you can see, very beautiful people, very classy people, very intelligent people. Most of them work, some are students, some are looking for jobs. Again, we do not atubagui. And we take care of them, they are ours. And they're available, so you can contact us if you want ushers for your corporate events. You can see our CEO or the marketing department by Sally. So thank you.
Watu makofi.
Thank you, Wapi Makofi at Chess Events. Wonderful, fantastic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go to our final, interesting, the climax of all, the final interview of the red seat. The gentleman, if I may say so, I'm about to introduce. In fact, I wonder why we haven't nominated him for top 40, under 40. He's the CEO who is behind the team that was just here, but he has so much on his profile. In fact, we looked at it and our team, it's amazing. For more of that, why don't we welcome the CEO of Chief Strategies and Solutions, Mr. John Kinothia, for the red seat. John, who is John Kinothia?
Thank you very much. My name is John Kinothia. I'm, as you heard, the Group CEO and Chairman of Chief Executive Strategies and Solutions. Chief Executive Strategies and Solutions, CHESS is a consulting firm. I'm a consultant by profession. I started at the age of 18, slightly under 18, but they didn't say at the time. My first job was with Price Waterhouse, even before they became PricewaterhouseCoopers. And I merged into the company PricewaterhouseCoopers Consulting. My background is technology, information technology. I worked here for about 6 years before I went to the US in 2001. I became an independent consultant. Then I joined a group called the Capgemini Group. Those are splitting of consulting firms from the auditing firms. So PwC's consulting was bought by IBM. So some of us went independent at the time because we were technology consultants and IBM was a technology firm, so you need to be independent. I later joined the Capgemini Group, which bought one of the consulting firm's departments at Ernst & Young. So it became Capgemini Ernst & Young. I rose through the ranks to become a senior director. That's in the US. I was, they take the top people in a particular skill.
How long did that take to rise to that level?
Okay, so my job with PwC started in 1996, and I became a director for Capgemini Group in the year, let me get it accurate, in the year 2006. So it took 10 years.
Actually, I want you to take us to USA. Before that, some people think, you know, USA for me, by the way, is Ugari Sukuma Avocado. That's the kind of meal you used to enjoy when you were in college. They think it's time to go for green pastures instead of planting their own grass back at home. What is your take on this thing about USA, UK, in that can you be a lizard in Kenya and be a crocodile in USA? What's your take, or UK?
Well, you have to be very careful when you think about going abroad. A good friend of mine who's, thinking about going to the US this week asked me, what do you think about me going to the US? And my answer to that question was very frank. You have to be very careful before you think about going to the States. I gave them a very candid feedback that a lot of Kenyans who go from Kenya to the US, not everybody makes it, okay? Number two, when you go there, a lot of things happen to you. The US is not like here where you have family, friends, and other people to kind of keep you in check. I told the person that even the demons take a green card and go there, right? So a lot of Kenyans, when they go there, it's a very challenging time because you have the world to yourself and you can become what you want. What I think is behind going to the States must be some purpose. You have to have a dream, as Dr. Hongo was preaching, and more importantly, you have to have, a solid foundation on which you want to build. Otherwise, you'll go there and get lost. It's the toughest thing for a Kenyan to do is to come back home. As you notice, a lot of people who go do not come back,
sure.
And it's a very tough thing. So my advice to people who want to go to the United States is, or any other country out there in the diaspora, first realize that the fact that many of us are coming back home means you are in the best country, as many people say, you're in the best continent. And when you go there, the only thing that you can benefit from is if you acquire sufficient skills, exposure, experience, and academic and career, expertise that you can come back home and invest back home. If your dream is just to make money, money will swallow you up. Those of you who've read the Bible have seen that you cannot serve two masters, and it says, you cannot serve both God and money. Now, you expect it to be God and the devil. The devil doesn't show up as the second master, it is money. So if your dream is just to make so much money, the money will swallow you up. If your dream is to become better, to come and impact your country, to become something greater than yourself and give back to the world, you certainly will succeed.
Thank you, CEO John. Becoming better and coming back to your roots and impacting the same. I'm meant to understand that CEO John Kenodia is a CEO for hire. What is the meaning of that exactly, CEO for hire? Can anyone hire you? What are the terms and conditions? What is this all about?
So a CEO for hire is a person who has sufficient expertise, skill, and management experience, and all-round knowledge, where clients hire you to manage their companies. Usually they hire you for a limited time, usually 6 months to 12 months, with a specific goal. The specific goal could be to increase profitability. If they have projects that are failing, they hire you to bring them up to the surface. But more importantly, to achieve goals like the company is getting ready to be sold, you help them to prepare for sale by increasing their value. If they want to restructure, you help them to restructure. If they feel that they are not achieving their mission in the marketplace, you help them. So you are paid to become a CEO. My last Kenyan client was iTech Africa, which is a company that has been in Kenya, actually in Africa for 27 years. When I was still in school, they were still going. It is a British-owned company, and basically I was group CEO and vice chairman of the board. And my goal was to accomplish the client's objectives, some of which were confidential, some you can speak about, but essentially to get them to a place within 6 months, and I did that, and it was a successful engagement.
Amazing. Now, in your journey as a consultant, you're about to come to that. I've noted that you've worked with this company, that company.
Correct.
It looks like job hopping.
Okay.
Is it something to advise people to do, or does it come with money and growth?
Yes.
What's your take about what would you advise Kenyans and the rest of the world to do this thing of jumping from one job to another?
That's a very
What are the
important-
pros and cons?
Yes, that's a very important question. When I was schooling and growing up, there was a word Dr. Hongo may remember, it's stickability, right? It used to be a good thing to stick with one company, grow within it, and become something. He asked an important question: how long did I take to become, to go from a systems engineer at PricewaterhouseCoopers, a consultant, basic IT consultant, all the way to a director of a global consulting firm with 140,000 employees, a senior director. In the US or North America infrastructure champion and a practice leader with my own practice, consulting practice in the US. It took me 10 years. And then after that, I went and became a group chief information officer for a $1 billion corporation in the US that had 70 operating units or 70 operating companies and took technology centers within it. I was the youngest CEO. I was still in my 20s, the youngest chief executive. I remember in Texas I was recognized as the youngest CIO. But the point is...
Recognition in Texas?
Yes, it was...
Mark off your John one. Kenyans making it out there, big out. Yes.
And the catch is, if I had not so-called quote-unquote job hopped, I would not have got to that position. So my answer to the question is, you have to stay long enough at a job to acquire the necessary skills, to acquire the necessary credentials, experience, at least to fill up your CV. But more importantly, to grow to a certain point that you feel you're ready to go to the next level. If you stay too long at a job, your feet get cold, you get used to it, you soon get demotivated, you become, one statistic after another. So you have to, essentially it's a stepping stone to your next level, then you go from a job. I encourage people to not always think of yourself as an employee, because an employee is a servant. You're serving somebody, you're hired, you're wage labor. Always think of the ultimate goal being an employer, or at least a master of what you do. So on that journey from servant to master, or from employee to employer, or an owner of a business, in fact I encourage a lot of people who work for me to be independent people, independent consultants, independent. So at some point you think of yourself as an entity to your own. So the point is, job hopping, if you take long enough in a job to accumulate the right skills, the right titles, the right experience, the right credentials, then move to the next one, capitalize on that to move to the next one. It is a very good and healthy thing, and actually very recommended, because you serve a lot of clients, a lot of companies in a lot of industries with different problems and solutions, and you grow, and soon enough you're all-rounded and good enough to run your own business and be profitable.
Mr. John, many people look at, I know you're a consultant.
Yes.
With a web of experience in audit, technology, and strategic management. Some people look at consultants as people who are out to hit and run, make a kill. Someone will come and look at your watch, tell you the time, and charge a high fee for it.
Yes.
Who is a consultant according to you? Are you a different kind of consultant?
Very important question. He's right. There was a saying of old that a consultant is somebody who asks you to look at your watch and tells you the time and charges you a fee for it, right? When I set out in my career, I remember when I was, early in my career, I told one particular partner that I wanted to become a consultant, and he called me a dreamer, and that is one of the most motivating things I've ever had, because one day I owned my own consulting firm in the US. I got the best client. I actually competed against all the big 4 consulting firms that were my employer. But to answer the question, a consultant is an expert. Now, the same person who is hired by a company as an employee with technical skills to become an employer in a particular field, if that person can increase their skills to a place where they are so marketable that clients will actually hire them and pay them usually 3 to 4 to 5 times more, and the more you get experience, sometimes you're paid 100 times more, to achieve a certain objective. So a consultant is 3 things. Number 1, somebody who's skilled enough, and then adds on to those skills what we call soft skills. Soft skills are things that are not technical. People skills, communication skills, the ability to think critically and all that. So that's the first thing you need to do to become a consultant. Become skilled in your technical field, go to the highest skill level you can. Number 2, add soft skills. And then, most importantly, the people skills, the ability to talk to people. The only thing about a consultant is most people don't tell you their problem until you're right there in the office. You have to think on your feet. And in consulting, failure is not an option. You get paid for it. You're only as good as your last job. If you fail, you don't get another job. So you have to listen to the client. Listening is one of the greatest skills a consultant can have. Understand the problem, envision a solution in your mind, and then deliver that solution to the client and execute to perfection. So in our field, we don't have room to fail. We're like, business hitmen. You cannot fail. You have to achieve exactly what you set out to do, and you're paid a very high fee to do that.
Okay. Mr. John, you mentioned you ever worked with PwC before
Correct.
Consulting, what you
Yes.
are doing big time.
Mhm.
Some of these organizations, the top four,
Mhm.
PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, and Ernst & Young,
Yes.
they are known for high pressure.
Mm.
We have even had a situation where people almost go nuts
Mhm.
because of the kind of crazy environment it is. What's your take? What was it in for you? Did you experience such, and is it worth it for the kind of, maybe they entice people with some good pay. Is it worth it? What was your experience on that?
So that's a very complex question. It's actually 3 questions in one. So I'll handle each on its own. The first one is they are very prestigious organizations to work for. Just the name, they used to be called Big Five. There was Arthur Andersen, there was Price Waterhouse, and then there was Coopers and Lybrand, and then there was KPMG, Pitt Mawick, and then there was Deloitte and Touche, and then some of them merged, and then Arthur Andersen became Accenture after that scandal. So they're very good companies to work for. But like you say correctly, there's a lot of pressure in those companies. As you well know, those are systems. And in those systems, they have to deliver at a very high level. So with the prestige and a lot of money comes a lot of personal and mental and emotional and social pressure. You find a lot of people that get into that system, sometimes they work too hard. I remember I was... when I joined, as I said, I was 18 years old. By the time I was 20, 21, I had my own home, I had my own car, I was doing great. But it comes at a price, because I was in Kenya and working 20 hours plus a day sometimes. Minimum I used to work sometimes was 15 hours, right? You could work, my job was my girlfriend, was my life.
Were you ever hospitalized?
Yes.
Oh?
Yes. So there's a time, I remember I was serving, so I was a systems engineer serving different continents, and I used to talk a lot on the phone. Those days, technical support on the engineering side was not scripts like today, where you read from a screen. You had to think from your head. So I was talking to people, and I started blacking out, sort of, So I'm talking to somebody, and they go like, John, are you there? And I went to see a doctor. And my eyes were like, they would start flashing at involuntarily, I'm looking at you and my eyes are going like that. So I was like, what's wrong? So I went to see a doctor, a very young doctor. He was at Nairobi Hospital, I think it was Dr. Ogola. And he told me something I'll never forget. He said, John, you know what, you're a great guy, everybody in the company knows you. You do the work of 6 to 10 people. In fact, the day you leave this company, they'll need like 10 guys to replace you, which was probably true. But he said, you know what, I have sad news for you. One, you're working so hard. How many months of leave do you have? I said 6 months. How long have you worked with the company? 6 years. Which means you've never taken leave, because that time you used to accumulate 1 month per year. And then he told me something amazing that I'll never forget. He said, you know what, if you keep going at the rate you're going, 2 years from now, you're going to come back to me on a stretcher with hypertension or a heart attack, and I will not be able to help you, and you'll pass away before my very eyes. He said, you're a young guy like me, and I have to tell you, you have to slow down. You have to, think about something else. You're very talented, you're doing great things, but you now have to go to the next level. And he forced me to 3 weeks of bed rest. Like, literally wrote to my partners and directors and
So
said,
that you can go and cool down.
Yes. And that's what triggered me to go to the US. I literally left everything. I left my job, I left my car, my home, my clothes. I remember my sister and my best friend fighting for my cell phone. I had one of the best cell phones around.
So am I having a feel that the pressure was so high here, so when you left for US, maybe you left for a more relaxed job or something?
Actually, when I left the US, for the US, I had those 6 months of leave. So I took my leave. Number 2, I got a better job in California, San Francisco with PwC. But more importantly, I wanted to find myself. That's why I took nothing. I remember I left with $1 in my pocket, 80 shillings. I took no clothes, nothing, and I said I want to start my dream. I want to find myself. And it was a very tough journey. He was right about the stress because I went to New York when there was a snowstorm, literally, and I was sick for a whole month even before I touched. But 2 years later, my colleague at PwC was a guy. His name was Ruben Mushiri, a great guy. He was a footballer, very fit. At 31 years of age, he had a heart attack. Exactly 2 years from when this doctor told me. He was in the shower going to work, very healthy, fit guy, but because of that pressure, he passed away. So it wasn't a joke, what the doctor told me, and I think I got it.
So you feel the pressure is not what it, people need to have a work-life balance?
That's very important.
Okay.
And funny thing is, in PwC, whether you stay, if you stay, you become a partner. If you leave, they become some of the great people. My friend KCB CEO Joshua Igara, he was
Okay.
He was a PwC, my PwC colleague. He left. They become great people in organization. In fact, there are companies that are usually looking for who's leaving PwC to grab them. So you'll make it either way, but you have to determine, one, that work-life balance, and then number two, there's something called exit strategy. Know when to leave, and know where to go after you leave.
It needs to be planned.
And what to do with your life.
You need to be planned and appropriate.
Exactly.
The right time.
And if you don't plan it, you'll be forced.
Yes. Previously in the show, Kogi Live TV show, we had another CEO that was very moving, telling us the story of the organization they have been, that is touching lives. A lot of young people out there, it's unfortunate that they are running for titles. I want to be COO, I want to be CEO. And for me, that's like a selfish agenda. A CEO should be providing solutions to the many challenges that bedevil our nation. What's your view as CEO of Chess? Are you providing solutions, or you are there as the boss? You are there, yeah, I'm a big man, I'm a CEO for hire me. Yeah.
So, one, never put titles that you haven't earned, right? Because very quickly it will catch up with you. As you heard, I started from the very low levels of IT engineer support and systems engineering, rose through the career ladder to the top. So I had 3 career lines. I had IT, so I became a group CIO for a $1 billion corporation. That's as high as you go in IT. I had consulting. I became a senior director at the Capgemini group, and then I had management, became a CEO of my own corporation. But you have to go step by step. The funny thing is, when you get to the top, especially if you're an employee, you find that the career ladder that you've gotten to the top of is leaning against the wrong wall, right? You find that okay, many of us struggle to get to the top, to that great office, to become CIO, COO, CFO, CEO. But when you get to that, you find it's not all that, right? You're still an employee, you're still paid, you still go through the system and pressure. At that point is when you have to capture and captivate, which is the first advice I would give people who want titles or want to do something into their life. Capture all your skills, all your talents, all your training, your passion. I usually ask people, what is it that you love doing so much that if you didn't have to do it for a living, to make a living, you'd actually do it for free? What is your passion? Find your passion, find your skills, find your experience, your people skills, your soft skills, combine them together and create into it something different. So, I wanted to create a company where principles, integrity, and other things were very important. And I remember when I created my company, I was a one-man shop. It was called CIO ASAP. We used to hire out CIOs for hire. And it was tough because just like today in Kenya, even in the US, people think in the US there's no corruption. Actually, there is more corruption. It's systemized.
It's worse than here.
Yeah, it's much worse than here.
It's those digital errors we experience once in a while.
Correct.
Okay.
So when you were a straightforward person, you have principles. It's not easy for you. You get persecuted. You get prosecuted. I mean, there was a company where I actually stopped corruption at a higher level than me. It was stealing millions of dollars, if you can imagine that. And they had a hitman to get me. Yeah, a professional guy who was, and one day he calls me up and say with a block number and says, hey, I know you don't know me, and I want you to listen and not say a word. I've been hired to take you out, but those of us who do this are very skilled. So you may think hitmen don't have consciences, but we do. I actually.
How did you survive that? Because your presence is a testimony. The hitman was soft on you.
So what he said is basically, I've looked at your experience and background all the way from Kenya. So he knew everything about me. And he said, I noticed that every company you go to, you stand with integrity. And at the point where you're compromised, you quit. or when somebody attempts to compromise you, you either resign or you stand up for what you believe. And he found that the reason these guys wanted to take me out is because they were stealing money from the company. When I discovered, I was the second in command at the company. I ordered an audit from accounting. They found out, they confirmed what I was suspecting. I changed the systems in the company so that nobody would ever be able to steal again. I changed it to a project-based system where it has a start date, an end date, and a specific deliverable. There's a budget. When the project is over, the budget expires. And more importantly, I created project steering committees to watch over that. So, thank you. So what this guy said is, I have a conscience. I cannot take you out.
Others felt it was technical, somebody got it.
Yes, somebody got it. So basically this guy said, I can't take you out. I cannot have this on my conscience. So I want you to disappear for 3 years out of the city where I was, live in the boondocks and survive. I'll tell these guys, we don't give refund as hitmen, but I'll tell them I couldn't find you and some stuff, and you'll be fine. Come back after 3 years. And I had to go leave town, go into the country in the US for 3 years. They wrote all kind of nonsense about me on the internet, and they tried to bring.
You were actually trending there.
Sorry?
You are trending.
Yeah, but it's not easy to stand your ground. And later, like I said, I got the best client in the world, the #1 company in the world. There's a system called Fortune 1000 where all the companies in the world globally are ranked. This client was the #1 company in the world. They had the biggest project. It was $1 billion project, and they needed a sound consultant to manage it. My competitors were 200 people from all the top consulting firms, my former employers, everybody who's who of consulting. And I got the project and they didn't, because at the time they needed somebody with my kind of background, integrity, and everything else.
So John, how did all this conclude?
Well, like I said, I got the project, I got the best client in the world, did it for quite a while. And then at some point, my father passed away in 2010 here in Kenya. So that was my first wake-up call that I needed to come back home. And then I got hired. So they sent headhunters from Europe to try give me 3 very top jobs. The first one was with a group called Infrastructure Project Development Group. It combines 30 of the top world lenders, World Bank, the USAID and all that into an infrastructure company. They wanted to give me a role as a special advisor to the chairman and to the board. And I remember looking at their portfolio, the money was obscene. It was the kind of money you can't even tell people, they won't believe it was obscene. But when I looked at their projects, most of them were here in Kenya. The others were in Africa, and they were predatory projects, which means, those countries get rich. The money goes back there, their people do the work, but the locals here don't benefit. So I turned down the job. They stepped up the offer. They made me executive director and CEO of the same company, declined the offer.
And at this time, were you doing something on the side, or you were just...
I was still a consultant.
Okay.
Yeah, I had my own consulting firm. That job was very tempting. It was a cabinet level position in the UK government. The UK government was consolidating all its global projects into what they call special or major projects. So they created the Major Projects Authority. They offered me a Director General role, which is a cabinet minister position, reporting to Her Majesty's Treasury.
So you actually had recognition in USA to be offered such a position?
Yes.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, don't you appreciate our very own Mr. John? The way the likes of Richard Leakey here, you started giving them positions, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I looked at the portfolio, it was the same old story. Most of the projects that were really critical were here in Africa. As you can see, we're doing billion-dollar projects, SGR and all the rest. But again, it was the same thing. I was going to be the front of a huge, the budget for that Major Projects Authority was 400 billion pounds, if you can visualize 400 billion pounds.
Wow.
I think today's exchange rate is what, 140 or 150?
That could even be higher than our Kenyan budget,
Yeah, so 400 billion times 135, 150, there, I can't remember what the rate is today. But that was the portfolio they had. But again, when I looked at the projects, they were predatory because they were here at home. The money would go back there and benefit the English people and all these other partners in the projects. And the people here would remain the same. The local Kenyan or the local African would not benefit from it. And more importantly, the expertise that would do the projects were from there. So the expertise is from there. The money comes from there as donor money. It comes here to the country as a loan, a very high interest rate loan, usurious to be exact, because we can't pay it back, and then the money goes back there. So by the time I got that offer, I said, there's something these guys are seeing in those of us who have skills and are practicing out there. There's something in a consultant who is hired by the top company in the world. What am I doing here? My country needs this. Why should I be a front for other countries?
So you decided to come back home.
Decided to come back home.
Wapi makofi ya John. John, before we wind up the interview, we usually take 2 quick questions from our audience.
What made you stand firm in the event whereby we see you were given a hit target or something, or a hit one, and in the process, what made you go by what you were taught or meant to believe, that integrity is the right way, and not choosing to look back, and probably bowing down to bribes, because I'm pretty sure you just shifted that. Maybe they tried giving you some.
Sure.
So what kept you going? And what message, referring that or relating it to your interest or story, can you give to young Kenyans to give us a motivational platform to use that as a future prosperity in terms of becoming better, just like you?
Yeah. The first thing is, like I said before, I learned when I was a kid, even though at the time I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why it says you cannot serve 2 masters, either you love one and hate the other, you'll be devoted to one and despise the other. I didn't understand why it said you cannot serve God and money. I always thought it should be God and the devil, because I thought the opposite of God was the devil. But soon enough, I learned that money is what is used to compromise you. When the devil comes to visit you, he doesn't come as the devil and say, hey, habari, mimi ni shaitani, habari gani. He comes as money, and he puts money on the table and asks you to sacrifice the most important thing to you. When I left this country, I was looking for myself. I was trying to find my place in the world, how I can change the world, change my country. And I decided to base on my life and career on 3 things. Number 1, principles. Number 2, actually this is primary, this is a foundation, my faith in God, which is very important to me. And then number 3, justice, and making sure that you treat other human beings better than you want to be treated yourself, and better than you found them. That is what I was taught by my parents. That's what I was taught, when I went to Sunday school as a kid. So those three things were the primary reasons I did not succumb to that kind of corruption: the faith, the principles, and then justice. Yes. When I came back to Kenya, I remember I was hired to become a presidential advisor. As part of, I was advising CEOs. Like I said, I came back and said, I want to make my country different. I want to raise corporations to a global standard.
So are you still advising the president?
If I say no, I'll be lying. But I remember I had to reject some projects in the same way that I rejected some of the jobs, because if I found anything fishy in the project, if I found somebody had some strange company and they were going to make money. I remember being given one particular project that I thought was one of the most important projects one could do, a strategic project, but I rejected it because there was some funny, fishy things. So the point is, even here at home, to the extent you can have that kind of integrity, it will change this country. I cry for this country because we are struggling with so many things, like Dr. Hongo said. Kenya is as good as a country gets. Our talent is, the President of the United States, like Dr. Hongo observed, one, if your father is Kenyan, you're Kenyan. It's as simple as that. That's why Consummator, when he asked me where I come from, I said Kiambu because my father comes from Kiambu. But I was born here in Nairobi. I was raised here in Donholm. I went to school in Unity Primary School.
Ni mtu wa Isilando?
Mimi mtu wa Isilando.
Okay.
I'm the only Shen-speaking CEO.
But you no longer live there nowadays?
No, I don't.
That's a promotion.
That is a promotion,
okay.
Yes. But bado naenda kuvisit Madhe huko, Doni. Right? Kisumu Ndogo, to be exact. That's like a stage where people are light. But the point is, many people don't know that President Obama in 2004, 4 years before he became president, was so broke, he went to something called the Democratic National Convention, which is like the big party where they select the next president. Or it's a big convention where they make up the strategy to take the White House the next year. The gentleman was so broke, he went to a car hire company and his credit card was declined. Many people don't know that story. Alikuwa amesota basically, yes. Alikuwa amesota mpaka kadi yake ikarejectiwa. So basically alihave kujisort, ajue vile atafika huko. in 4 years' time, he was the president of the US, right? And the point is that don't, like somebody said here, don't assume who somebody is, don't assume what somebody is capable of. The next president, the next big person, the next, you don't know what, the next Bill Gates. The point is the dream that is in somebody. So the other answer, of course, to the question is that when you get to where you dream to be, or even better, where God places you to be, always remember money is your enemy. Don't look at the money, look at the goal, look at the skill, look at the work, look at the client, change people's lives. The money will follow you. And by the time you get where you want, the money will follow you.
Amazing. As you conclude this interview on the right seat,
yes.
Things don't just happen.
Correct.
Things happen just. There's an element of responsibility of each and every one of us in Kenya to take initiative and take our country to the next level in our small ways we do. CEO John Kirodia is doing it as a consultant. I don't know about you. What is your message to people out there who want to be where you are? Top 40, under 40. I know you're not yet 40 years old, but what you have achieved, man, congratulations. Let us celebrate CEO John. Wow. Keep it up. At Kogi Live, we celebrate people. We don't need to come and read the eulogy. He was. No, we celebrated you alive. And we celebrate you. We salute you, CEO John. What's your message? Looking at that camera.
So the first thing I want to encourage people is forget about jobs. Think about business. Think about creating jobs. Think about entrepreneurship. Like I say, don't struggle to be a master. The educational system is formulated to make you a servant, a better servant. Think about how you can translate from being a servant to a master. Can you own your own business? Even if you're an employee of an organization, can you look at your business unit or your sphere of influence as a company that you run to profitability, so that one day you get your own company? If you have skills, think about in future how you want to run your own company. So when you're still employed, imagine what your boss goes through every day. How does this guy make money? How does he get clients? How does he do sales? How does he do marketing? How does he do finance? Observe around you as you do your job. Think about where you're going, so that in future you can do the same thing.
Amazing message.
I created a consulting firm because I realized I was a practice leader. I was hiring people, firing people, getting all the clients, but the money was going to the company. So I fired the middleman, who was the employer, and decided to be the primary employer myself.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Yes.
John. And to sum it up, I've noted you highlighting B&B, beauty and play. That it is not about the container, the beauty.
Yes.
It's between what is between this ear
Correct.
and this ear, the content.
Yes.
A better hand for CEO John. Thank you so much. How can our audience reach to you if they want to see you for hire to catapult their business from trying moments? From grass to grace.
No problem. So very soon our website will be up. It will be chiefexecutivestrategist.com. My email is John and then the letter K at chiefexecutivestrategies plural.com. You can take my phone number if you want, 0702 46 27 27. I want to create this one company as a conglomeration of all that I do. Chess Events is just a business unit within that company. We'll be changing the world from that one company, chiefexecutivestrategist.com. The initials are CH from Chief, and then E comes from executive, S comes from strategies, and then the other S comes from solutions.
Amazing.
Chess.
At Kogi Live, we'll give you all the support.
Thank you very much.
Anyone requiring a contact, we'll liaise with them.
No problem.
And we wish you all the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now I want to invite our co-host Consummator to tell us how we conclude this. Makopi wapia, MC Consummator. Mzito ameongea hapa.
Kuja simama, chukua hii. Unajua ukitaka kuja mtu ako na future, akiongea kuna kazungu kamoja utoka kuchomoka tu. And you don't understand. Conglomeration. You say something.
Conglomeration.
Where? Yeah, what's the meaning?
Conglomeration, you know.
It's a it's a meration. Summary, yeah? Huyo ni mtu amesoma ana hiyo kazungu kanachomokaka kamoja chua unakasikia. Yeah. So we have come to the end of the show tonight. Thank you so much.